This is my third take making this video, but it's become kind of a funny meme tradition where I make one vlog a year. Here it is. I guess today I'll talk about something that's not like serious, but something that's important to me. But before we get there, I've been on Twitch for 9 years. July 6th of 2015 is when I made this current Twitch account. You're watching a YouTube video, but SmartAlec24. This is when I made my Twitch account. So, if you have stuck around for that long, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, on a more serious note, crazy to think it's been 9 years already. You know, when I made my account, I had just turned 19. I was still in college, but also, like, I was, you know, not taking care of my mental health. I was ignoring everything. I was having suicidal thoughts. I was not eating well. I'd have moments where I would be fine or I would feel fine, but, you know, it wasn't exactly the best time to be me. And then, of course, I throw myself on the internet, and then I am subject to scrutiny and stuff, so. But I've stuck around, and I've grown up, and I feel like just generally a better person. Not perfect, you know. There's still things I still need to figure out about myself, but I think we're getting closer. So, yeah. Anyways, I feel like now is the time to talk about something. Again, I did this video twice before, scrapped both takes. One of them was just because literally I just like couldn't like describe everything very well. But the other time it was just because I just wanted a do-over. I'm like, I could upload it, but it's like, I want to try again. So, anyways, third time's the charm. I realize that maybe I'm walking on thin ice when I'm talking, or when I'm about to talk about this. I can't speak at all. Who knows if I'll talk about anything, but anyways, to get to the main point of what I want to discuss, it does pertain to the Donkey Kong Country games. If you've stuck around for a long time, or if you watched my stream back in 2015, 2016, first off, I don't know why. Second off, maybe this will be more important to you than the average viewer. But let me just get straight to the point, and then I'll talk about what's going on. I actually returned to playing the games. Yep, I already returned to playing the games. I'll get more into it later, but I uploaded unlisted YouTube videos of a few of my runs that I've been doing for about the past year, on and off. You know, I didn't practice and prep for a year. I just kind of screwed around for a year, on and off. But I uploaded unlisted YouTube videos, and I'm going to make those public. So you're probably wondering why I'm doing that. Why would you do that? Didn't you quit? I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Let me get into it. So first off, I'm not going to give the full history of everything. I did write a paste bin a few years ago. I know I wrote some tweets, and while there might be fragments of things that I still agree with, there's also fragments of stuff that I think I should have rewritten, and then there's stuff that I'm just like, this isn't true anymore. And then there's stuff that I'm just like, this is cringy. So, anyways, I played the DKC games from the start of my Twitch, whatever, actually a few months before, so around March of 2015 through December of 2016, so a little over a year and a half. I was telling everybody that I'm quitting the games, but I would tell people it's because the games suck, or, you know, I would constantly bash the games, like, you know, why would you bother playing this, or if you're playing this game that means you hate yourself, or, you know, this game sucks because of this one little insignificant detail. You know, it was just stuff like that. Nowadays I make jokes about games. I'm like, oh, you can't do this in this game sucks, but I'm kidding when I do that. But the main reason I quit is because of just community toxicity. And I was just fed up with a lot of people back then. I have heard that the community is a lot better today. And the other thing that helps is that there are some people who they just like ditched the DKC games, I guess. You know, some people who were giving me grief, or they were, you know, just not good people to be around. They don't even play the games anymore, so what's even, you know, what's the issue there if they are gone, I guess. So again, when I started on Twitch, not the best time to be me. But I also want to make it clear that certain things that were said to me and the emotions I felt from hearing people say negative things, all of that was still real. I didn't imagine any of it. I wasn't pretending that things were happening and people were like, no, nothing's happening. Things were. But I just didn't have a backbone back then. And I just, you know, there were a couple times where I genuinely was wrong and I admitted it. But there were also times where I wasn't wrong, but I was made to think that I was. You know, there were a couple times where I was offering criticism about something, and then I was told, no, that's not actually going on. And then I just believed it. Or I thought there were certain behaviors I was seeing in the community, and it's like, no, you have to act like this in order to fit in, which nowadays, of course, I know that's stupid, but that's how my brain thought. I just wanted to be accepted, and I thought speedrunning was such a cool idea, and I focused too much on that instead of just trying to figure out who I am. The thing is, starting in 2018, I started going to therapy because I wanted to unalive myself. I don't know what you can say on YouTube, so we'll say that. And I'm still here. So I would go to therapy. I try to go twice a month, roughly. There were a couple breaks here and there for other reasons, but there were a few things we've discussed that pertain to this. But yeah, I did mention how, you know, I just felt like the community didn't like me, and that, you know, some people only cared about what my timer said instead of who I am. And there was someone who I was really close to in the community when I first got involved. Some of you may know. But as I went through therapy, and as I discussed all these experiences, and as I started to just make sense of who I am, how I think, what triggers negative thoughts, as I just started to figure that out, it made me realize that they were the problem, generally. I went to the guy who I thought I could trust and thought I would get along with the most, but I was getting bad advice or false reassurance, whatever. And it soured my mood, and it made me second guess everything I was doing and thinking and saying. You know, I just thought, oh, well, this is just how it is, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. So, you know, I talk about all that, and I talk about how people are being stupid or were being stupid. Well, what exactly changed? Or it's like, why did I come back around to doing these games again? You know, some people were like, oh, well, you quit now, but you'll be back. But even then, it's like, they don't really get the satisfaction of doing that or saying that, because, I mean, in a sense they do, but we're not, how do I phrase this? I'm not the same person who's just going back to something. I'm different, and I can say that because it's true. You know, I could just sit here and make a 1-hour video discussing every little thing that people did to me back then, But what would that accomplish? You know? I just don't feel it's necessary, because how are we improving anything by doing that? So I guess if you want to call it like, oh, I was on strike or protesting, whatever. Basically, when did this stop? Well, I'm technically calling it done today, but it kind of started 2 years ago in the Super 16 number 6 race hosted by Speed Gaming. Around that time, I didn't have any speed projects going on, and Big 20 had we thought it was dead. Turns out it wasn't. It was just, it came back a month after the race was over, the Super 16 was over. But again, it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do this event because it looks cool. Because I already did a Super 16 before. And aside from a few games, like 3 games, the list was pretty stacked. Games that I already knew, like Michael Jordan. But then there were also games like, Pitfall and Lion King and Demon's Crest that I'm like, oh, these are cool. I want to play these. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country 1 was in that race. And the goal was to beat World 4 in the game. Which, it's kind of funny because DKC 1 is my least favorite of the original 3. But I wasn't super vocal about the whole spiel. I thought to myself, it's like, someone's going to see what I'm doing and they're going to, give me shit for it, essentially. But nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody really seemed to care. I think people just kind of finally just moved on and said, I think some people might have grown up. It was a constant every day, like, hey, have you gotten a 40 yet? Have you gotten sub 40? But I think they just kind of grew up and realized that that was just fucking nonsense. The people who I see playing DKC games today, which, again, I don't really watch the games anymore. I don't really watch streams anymore, I'll admit. I have trouble with that. But I don't recognize anybody who's doing games today, who's doing those 3 games. I don't recognize a single name, because they all started after I quit. The only person I do recognize is Void. And I met him at SGDQ 2016 a few months before I ended up quitting. But I think the other thing that kind of helps the situation is that my favorite to run at the time was DKC 3. DKC 2 is my favorite casually, but that speedrun and I just don't click. But DKC 3 and I kind of clicked, essentially. But it also helps that that game is just a lot less ridiculed. It still is. There's no helping it. But, it's good to have more of a positive image of the game, I guess, because, everyone's like, oh, well, this game has wrong warps, this one has frame perfect jump rolls, and this has super jump rolls that you have to hit, and it's like winning the lottery. But 3 was just my favorite because I was just playing the game. It just clicks with me. And before any of you think, oh, you like glitchless games, I literally have ran games where the whole thing is broken. Like Ghoul School is completely broken. Michael Jordan, I mentioned earlier, that game is completely broken. Some broken games click with me, but DKC2 is just not one of them. But yeah, like, obviously I know how stupid all those comments are, and those people would be banned in my stream today because I don't have the time or energy to deal with that, but it was constant back then. It was constantly every day I was subjecting myself to that instead of just enjoying my game. But even outside of DKC, if there's a game I'm enjoying and somebody has to shit talk it, it's easier for me to deal with it. Again, like, I didn't really have much of a spine back then. And again, I thought, oh, well, this is just how it is. But no, you can block and ban people. I've done that. And again, I've heard that the community is less toxic today, which is good. And I've also heard, I had a couple people tell me that, like, they kind of agreed with what I said, where it's like, back then things were toxic. So I'm not saying that that's, proof or anything. It's just, it helps to, validate that, I guess. I didn't need validation, but it helps. But anyways, Super 16, no one really seemed to pay it any mind that I was playing the game. About a year later, I had this thought before, but I thought it again. And I was like, you know, what if I do the categories in the games that I want to do that are actually fun to me, record the runs offline, and then upload the video but unlist them, and then disable the comments and the likes, etc. And so I just kind of, you know, thought about it. And I'm like, you know, it can't hurt anything. You know, can't really hurt. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm doing categories that I like. So DKC 1, the only category I did was no major glitches. DKC 2, I like Warpless the most. I used to not like it, but because of a Castle Crush change that has happened after I quit, kind of makes the whole point moot. So DKC 3, pretty much every category except Warpless, because there's something in there that I think is stupid, but whatever. It's just my opinion. So yeah, if anybody was expecting me to go for sub 40 in DKC 2 any percent, you're going to wait the rest of your life until you die, because it's not happening. Not that I've never experienced that before, but the reason I'm making everything public, and the reason that I, you know, can admit to all this, one is, again, because I'm 28 now. I was 19 back then. I was a stupid college kid who was insecure, didn't know anything, didn't do anything to treat myself. But also, Twitch made a change fairly recently that kind of gave me the push I needed. I know there's loopholes around this. I'm not going to tell you what they are. But Twitch, if you ban somebody from your chat room, then they can't see your stream at all. Again, I know there's loopholes, but I don't know why, but it's just, it helps me mentally feel better that if there's someone who's just not good for me, they can't see what I'm doing. Even if they use a loophole and I never figure it out or never realize it, like, just, again, mentally, it just helps me think, like, yeah, like, they can't see what I'm doing. They can't judge me, that kind of thing. And that's just how it was. Like, I felt like I was just constantly being judged back then. And then I would, you know, then I would be told, it's like, no, you're all good. Like, your times are good. Like, they're fine. But then I would next hear, I mean, your times are good, but it's like, but when are you getting the sub 40? Yeah, again, like, I've had to block and ban people online, and it was scary to do that, but I don't think anybody who I blocked even knows that I blocked them or cares that I blocked them. You know, it's another thing I just want to clear up. I'm not going to just go out and start attacking people. You know, I don't want to deal with drama. I got enough going on in my life already. I have a job. I work on speedrun projects all the time. Even my free time, it's like, I don't want to deal with stuff like that. I still have social anxiety disorder. It's not like I don't have that. I still don't want to deal with drama. But at the same time, if someone's just not good, if someone is just someone who I don't want to I would never get along with, then I just block them and I move on. And I would expect people to do that to me too. If somebody's just like, you know, Alec, I just don't think we have anything in common, or, you know, we just don't get along, maybe we should just not talk. Fair enough. Works for me. I think it's better than attacking people on Twitter and trying to cancel them, which has happened. Somebody tried to cancel me. Not a DKC person, but somebody tried to cancel me. It didn't work. So it helps to know that I can block people, but also just be like, now that they're blocked, like, that's all I need to do. I don't need to make a scene about it. And, you know, I'm not saying, like, they need to drop off the earth. I'm just saying I just don't want them in my life. I think that's fine. I think it's fair. You know, it felt freeing to do that. I think I covered all of, like, the main points that I want to cover. I'm not going to do DKC games all the time now. I'm not quitting everything else to play these games. I may still play them offline only. The only other thing is that if any DKC people do see this video, don't upload my times to the leaderboards on either speedrun.com or whatever wiki, if you're still using the wiki board, which I don't know why you would. I don't want my times on there. I'm good keeping them on my spreadsheet. I prefer that. You know, if somebody comes to my stream and asks me to play DKC, if I don't want to, I'll probably just tell you no, and I might make fun of you, but you know, it's gonna be different now. Things have changed. But the big thing is that whatever this strike or protest was, if you want to even call it that, it's no longer a thing. So people who, here's the thing, if you're concerned like, oh, did I say something wrong? Did I do something bad? If you're banned in my stream, then you're banned in my stream. But if you're not, if you can still see my stream and chat, you're all good. You're good. All set. We're good. But again, I can't imagine anybody who would want to come around and be like, hey, I wanted to watch your stream, but I'm banned. It's like, that's how it is. And I don't do unban appeals. That's for anybody. I don't do unban appeals. I think it's silly. But anyways, I don't even know if I will stream DKC anymore. Maybe I'll just do it offline like I've been doing, but I'll upload public videos. Maybe I'll do it that way. I don't know. But it does feel good to just be like, I don't have to think about, oh, I need to keep this hidden from people, or, oh, I need to, you know, I can't do this because then people are going to get back at me somehow, you know, because if people genuinely have an issue, or if people genuinely want to just try to start drama over what I'm doing, that says a lot more about them than it does me. So if nobody starts drama over it, hey, perfect. We're all set. We're good to go. But yeah, it's just, it was a lot of frustration back then, and it was a lot of bullshit back then. But now that I've gone to therapy for 6 years, things have been made easier for me. So I don't really know if there's anything else I need to say or should say. Yeah, again, this was my third take on this video, so yeah, this was not exactly the easiest thing to talk about, which is hilarious out of context. It's kind of embarrassing out of context, but in context, and if you know what I dealt with, or if you have known me for a while, then it's like, okay, I get it. But anyways, I guess I'll close with this. If you have stuck around for the past 9 years, even after I quit DKC, thank you, because I appreciate it. If you found me after I quit and didn't even know this was a thing or whatever, that's okay too. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you do stick around. If not, it's all good, but I hope you do. And if you only watched me for DKC and now you're just gonna watch my stream again and hope that I'm gonna play the game again, just respect my wishes, because if you don't, I don't know, I guess you'll be banned. I don't know. I don't want to say you'll feel my wrath, because I don't really have much wrath. I'm just like, I just want to do my own thing. So yeah, I think I've covered everything I need to. So before this video gets too long, I guess I'll cut it. But yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for letting me stream for nearly, actually, yeah, it will be 9 years when I upload this. So thanks for 9 years. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. And remember to take care of this up here. All right. That'll be it. Thanks for watching. Take care.